In this video, we are going to compare monolithic and microservice architectures. By this way, you will good understand which design better fits your business requirements and capacity. The first comparison is application architecture. Monolithic has a simple, straightforward structure of one undivided unit, but microservices have a complex structure that consists of various heterogeneous services and databases. The second comparison is scalability. Monolithic application is scaled as a whole single unit, but microservices can be scaled independently, and this will save business and development teams a lot of time and resources. This difference between monolithic and microservices encourages companies to migrate their rapidly growing applications to microservices in order to drive agility and enable more cost-effective approach to development. And another comparison is deployment. Monolithic application provides fast and easy deployment of whole system. On the other hand, microservices can deploy different components in a microservice application independently. This enables frequently and zero downtime deployment and provide CI/CD automations. You can see the picture in here. You can see the monolithic application has large development teams pushing to code single code base, and there is one deployment pipeline and deploy to production. On the other hand, you can see the different teams, organized development teams in microservices, and every team has own code base about the microservice code base, and every microservice has different development deployment pipelines, and they can deploy independently and perform CI/CD automations. Another comparison is development teams. If your team doesn't have experience with microservices and container systems, building a microservice based application will be difficult. Monolithic architecture can be preferable for single developers or small teams. On the other hand, if you have teams skilled in microservice deployments and plan to expand your team over time, starting with microservices can save your time in the future, because microservices provide better flexibility when it comes to team composition and distribution of tasks and ownership. And another comparison could be microservices resilience. Microservice applications are more resilient due to independent deployment and loosely coupling if you compare to tightly coupling in monolithic applications, because single bug can be down the production the whole monolithic application. But in microservices, if the basket has exception or error, the other microservices will work, and that makes the microservices is more resilient to monolithic architecture. And another comparison could be troubleshooting. Large monolithic application is harder to troubleshoot due to various dependencies and tightly coupling between system components, but in microservices enable to fast and easy problem tracing and troubleshooting with using the correct tools. Now let's make an architecture comparison in the architecture views. As you can see that this is the monolithic application and separating different modules, and it using the single big relational database. And here you can see the typical microservice architecture using the API gateway to accommodate client requests and spread these requests to internal microservices, and every microservices using their own database, and each can be used different technology stack, and this will be independently scaled and independently deployable. So this is the architecture comparison of monolithic and microservices. If you go further, you can see the deployment comparison. In the deployment comparison, monolithic has large development teams pushing codes single code base, and only one deployment pipeline will be deploy production the whole monolithic application. But in microservices, we have different organized development teams can push their codes to microservice own repository, and each microservices has own deployment pipeline. That means we can apply CI/CD automations